Hello and welcome to SatTV Week, the news programme for the international satellite industry. This week, Helen Jameson provides an interesting insight into Galileo, SpaceX pushes for astronauts on its Dragon spacecraft, and NASA firms up Atlantis mission. But first, here's Carrie-Anne with the news headlines.
Satellite Broadband Ireland has signed a commercial agreement with Eutelsat to sell broadband services via KA-SAT. The initial 3-year broadband utility contract, worth more than €5 million, will allow SBI to sell Eutelsat's next-generation two-way satellite broadband service, with download speeds of up to 10 megabytes per second and upload speeds of up to 4 megabytes per second. SBI will start to deliver the service in Ireland and plans to expand across Europe. The two-way service will be provided via Eutelsat's innovative KA-SAT satellite, which was launched in December 2010 and is on track to enter into full commercial service in May 2011. KA-SAT's approach is based on next-generation two-way wireless Ka-band spot beam technology, which lowers the cost of providing high-bandwidth access to the internet. SES Astra will provide the Albanian Post with its satellite broadband service Astra 2 Connect to offer customers free internet access to rural areas throughout the country. In addition, Astra 2 Connect will be used by the Albanian Post for its daily operations. Together with Starsat, the Astra 2 Connect distribution partner in Albania, broadband access via SES Astra's innovative satellite broadband platform will be installed in 300 post offices, which is more than half of all the post offices in the country.
Thanks, Carrie-Anne. Now, Galileo, Europe's sat-nav constellation, has taken a significant step forward with its first satellite undergoing testing at ESA's Technical Centre in the Netherlands. Over the next 2 years, a total of 4 Galileo in-orbit validation satellites are due to be launched. But the system has many critics, and earlier I spoke to Helen Jameson, editor of the Satellite Evolution Group, and asked her about the problems facing this multi-billion-dollar system. Hi Helen, now we've all heard about the recent problems at OHB Systems, where CEO Barry Smutny was relieved of his duties after WikiLeaks published a report saying he thought Galileo was a stupid idea. How big a PR disaster is this for the project?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a complete PR disaster for the project itself, but it's certainly another heavy knock for the programme. This is a key contractor. Stating that it's a stupid idea. This is the EU's flagship initiative, and it's surrounded by negativity on an almost daily basis. This is the opportunity for Europe to gain independence over the American GPS system, so it's still a very important initiative for the EU, but it is descending into the realms of a soap opera, and there's been lots of delays, lots of infighting and mudslinging, and many issues with funding. So at the end of the day, it is suffering from bad PR at present, Galileo, and it's difficult to see where it's going to end at the moment.
Now, last week the EU said it needs another €1.9 billion to complete the project. Is this money available, or are they going to have to raise it?
Well, the money's not available, and no, it's not going to be easy to come by either. The EU is fiercely defending the programme, and it has said that it's going to go to private industry to see if it can reduce the cost of the Galileo programme to make savings, but ultimately it looks like it's going to fall to the taxpayer, and obviously this isn't going down well because the taxpayer is already bailing out European economies. Why does it want to save the Galileo programme? It's difficult to tell.
Now, the project's got a large number of critics. What are they saying?
Well, they're asking whether the whole thing will be profitable. Do we actually need it? Does Europe need its own GPS system? And there are other satellite navigation constellations that are already under construction, such as GLONASS and Beidou from China. So, can the EU really afford it? Is it really necessary at this juncture? We're coming out of a recession at the moment. Is this really what the EU should be doing? So it does have its fierce critics, and Galileo does have a lot to live up to if it does actually come to fruition.
Now, does the project have the backing of private industry in Europe?
Well, it had backing. It was based upon PPP initiative, a public-private partnership initiative. And it was meant to, industry was meant to be identifying and help to develop the system, to find new applications for the system when it eventually becomes operational. But they did actually pull out over questions over how much money the private industry would actually come out of the initiative with. So that actually was dissolved in 2006. They can't see what's in it for them, basically, so that's where the problem has arisen, and now the EU has to go back to them to convince them that it's a good idea and that they should be part of it.
Now finally, difficult question. Is it going to be up and running by 2020?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball, so I really couldn't tell you. But the programme, I can tell you, is at a crucial tipping point, and this 1.9 billion euros is going to be the be-all and end-all of the system, and we're just going to have to wait and see how they're going to raise that money.
Thank you, Helen. Launch news this week, and NASA has added another shuttle mission to its schedule. Atlantis is set to launch on June 28th and will be the 135th and final shuttle flight, bringing to an end a program that started in 1981 with the ill-fated Space Shuttle Columbia orbiting the Earth 37 times. Atlantis will carry the Raffaello multi-purpose logistics module to deliver supplies, logistics and spare parts to the ISS. Meanwhile, the Space Shuttle Discovery will be rolled out to Launch Pad 39A on Monday. Discovery and its 6 astronauts are targeted to launch on the STS-133 mission to the ISS on February 24th. With NASA set to pay over $50 million per seat on the Russian Soyuz rockets to carry its astronauts to and from the ISS, SpaceX, the first commercial company to successfully recover a spacecraft from Earth orbit, has submitted proposals to the agency's Commercial Crew Development Program to begin work on preparing its Dragon spacecraft to carry astronauts. The company believes the now flight-proven Falcon 9 and Dragon architecture is the safest path to US crew transportation capability. Both vehicles were designed from the beginning to transport astronauts, and the cargo version of the Dragon spacecraft will be capable of carrying crew with only 3 key modifications: a launch abort system, environmental controls and seats. With Hylas 1, Avanti's first broadband satellite for Europe, and SkyTerra 1, Light Squared satellite for US coverage, set to enter service later this year, satellite broadband is attracting a lot of attention. Here's James with news of 2 new networks for rural subscribers.
Microsat Systems Canada is set to ring the world with 78 microsats called Constellation that will orbit the Earth at 1,000 kilometres, providing backhaul capacity at the same time as connecting remote regions to the internet. David R. Cooper, the company's president and CEO, said that the system will provide essential backhaul capacity to mobile operators and will be the initiative many governments are pushing for to connect everyone to the internet. The time frame for the system is 2014 to 2015 and would require 6 launches to deploy the microsats into orbit. Another system which is dedicated to supplying service to those with limited or no access to the internet is O3b, who are launching an initial constellation of 8 MEO satellites into space at an altitude of 8,000 kilometres to address the backhaul market. O3b is now a fully funded operation with $1.2 billion of backing, which will see the company through to the launch of its first 8 satellites in 2012 on Soyuz launches.
Thank you, James. Now here's Carrie-Anne with more of today's news.
The Space Data Association will now provide conjunction assessment processing for more than 60% of all operational satellites in geosynchronous Earth orbit. The challenge of ensuring flight safety for both manned and unmanned spacecraft rapidly became an international priority following the Iridium Cosmos collision in 2009. Late last year, the SDA's Chief Technology Advisor, Analytical Graphics, transferred users to the Socrates GEO and LEO programs, a database of high-accuracy orbital information for data sharing. The Space Data Centre now provides assessment services for 197 satellites from 13 geosynchronous satellite operators and 114 operational satellites in low Earth orbit from 7 LEO operators. The World Teleport Association has released a new white paper, How to Buy Satellite Capacity, which shares first-hand experience from teleport operators into the fundamentals of buying satellite capacity for video and data. Based on interviews with executives experienced in negotiating satellite lease terms for their teleports, How to Buy Satellite Capacity examines the roles of teleport operators and satellite operators and offers advice on how teleport operators can best protect their interests while maximising the value of the strategic partnership with the space segment sector. The report is part of an ongoing effort by WTA called the 4 Nines that promotes best practices in teleport operations, technology and management.
Thanks, Carrie-Anne. Finally, in other news, the Vandenberg Air Force Base in California saw the largest rocket ever launched from the US West Coast when a United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket carrying a payload for the National Reconnaissance Office successfully lifted off from the Space Launch Complex 6 on January 20th. The Delta IV Heavy launch was the second Delta IV launch for NRO in 2 months and occurred after a multi-year construction effort to upgrade SLC-6 to accommodate the rocket. ULA's next launch is the Atlas V Orbital Test Vehicle 2, currently scheduled for March 4th from SLC-41 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching.